This is episode 32 of the Online Playmaker Sessions with email marketing guru and direct response strategist, Darren Hanser.
Welcome to the Online Playmaker Sessions. This is the place for the latest what's working now strategies from the best online playmakers, the top marketers, the rising stars who are making it happen right now. Every week, you'll get real, actionable lessons that you can take and apply immediately in your business, delivered in short 20-minute sessions. Our focus is your results. Here's your host, entrepreneur, world-class trainer, and marketing strategist, Norbert Orlowitz.
Hello, online playmakers. If this is your first time tuning into the Playmaker Sessions, thank you for choosing us, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, and if you prefer video, our YouTube channel at onlineprofitplaybook.tv. As with all of our episodes, we have all the show notes, transcripts, and actionable tips over on the blog. Just head over to www.onlineprofitplaybook.com. You'll also be able to get access to my complimentary 5-video tutorial series on building the proper foundation for your online business, as well as several other free trainings, including my Instant Income Multiplier tutorial. And if you're ready to multiply your results fast, check out the premium membership of our Online Profit Playbook, where our guests open up their closely guarded playbooks and walk you step by step through the exact marketing funnels and sales process they use to build their audience, grow their influence, and make sales. Get the coveted Online Profit Playbook today. Just head over to onlineprofitplaybook.com and join the Playmakers. Darren's journey into online marketing started with big dreams of quitting his job and traveling the world. As a father of 2, Darren knew that if he was going to provide financially for his family, he had to run his own business. And after trying his hand at a number of network marketing opportunities, Darren found a small community of marketers who were using the internet to build large businesses. Darren realized he loved to write, strategize, and serve entrepreneurs, which ultimately guided him straight towards his zone of genius, email marketing. Today, Darren is an online direct response marketing consultant for home business entrepreneurs. He's one of the most sought-after hired hands for entrepreneurs, super affiliates who want to turn their email lists into cash by using his automatic authority formula, a proven process for engagement and conversions through email. Darren is living his vision of traveling the globe, recently spending 8 weeks in Bali and Australia, sharing his email marketing strategies with entrepreneurs at live events in both countries. This week's Online Playmaker, Darren Hanser. All right, welcome back, everybody. Episode 32 of the Online Playmaker Sessions. And today we've got a special guest here, a fellow Canadian from Toronto, my hometown, Darren Hanser. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm great, Norbert. Thanks for having me out here.
Awesome, man. It's my pleasure. I know you've been traveling around the world in the last little bit. We were talking when you were out in Bali and running a mastermind there, and now you're back home. So we got to connect. I'm really excited to kind of dig in here because you've got a lot of experience to share with our viewers, and I'm really excited to sort of learn about your story and your growth and your transition as a marketer and entrepreneur online. So this is going to be really exciting.
Awesome. Excited for it.
Awesome.
Shoot.
All right. So let's get started here. We got to go back a little bit because it's been a few years now since you got started online. So we have to tell people a little bit of the background. How did you get involved in online marketing and what you do today? Take us back a few years and give us some of the short story on the beginnings here.
Yeah. So yeah, in a nutshell, like a lot of people who kind of enter the entrepreneurial space, in our online world, got started in network marketing, mainly because I saw an opportunity that I could, not have to work and still earn a living. Going through a lot of personal things at the time, and I saw something that could maybe shift my life a little bit in a more positive way. So I got, I was like actually that reluctant guest at my friend's home party, and I was like in the back, my arms crossed, and I actually went just to support her so that she didn't look like she had an empty house when she had all the people there. but coming from a business background, I went to school for business administration and financial planning, and I kind of learned about leverage and understanding kind of how things worked. I saw an opportunity there, and I was kind of intrigued, to be honest with you. So I reluctantly but energetically got started, and quickly realized that I had no friends and no family to speak of who I would even remotely want a part of this business that I had started. So I quickly went online and I just was searching for information on how to build a business without talking to people. So I kind of went down that path, which I think a lot of people do. And I found systems. I found you actually, and got started and started to learn kind of online marketing, and then just really realized that there was a lot of leverage in building email lists, in learning how to use words, how to communicate through email, how to ultimately make sales when you weren't really involved in the process at every step of the way. I came from a traditional background in personal finance and insurance and business, so it was very personal. And coming from that, going to like an online world was almost a 180-degree switch, and I was quite intrigued. So that's really how I got started. And then the story just really began at that point in time when I realized that there was something here, and I just needed to figure out my niche and where I really fit into the whole game.
So that's a big switch, like it is a big transition for so many people coming into this industry. Like you said, it was like a 180-degree switch from doing financial, where you're doing one-on-one, dealing with people personally, and now you're trying to embrace this whole online world and building an audience and speaking to an audience through through email marketing, through words, which is one of your specialties, and we'll be talking a little bit about that. So share with us what that transition was like. I mean, obviously there were some struggles along the way. What were some of the big challenges that you faced as you were getting started?
I think the main challenge was understanding that it was a whole new skill set that I needed to learn, and that I was really starting from scratch. Because I came from a traditional environment where the people, like I was a marketing director at this insurance firm, and I had great ideas of how they could sell more, but then I would really come up to a lot of resistance when it came to the processes that they needed to follow. But then coming online, I realized that it was kind of like the Wild West, where you could just do whatever you thought would work, test it out, and then if it worked, you just do more of that. If it doesn't work, you just do less of that. And I realized that there was a lot more personality that I could bring to the online world. But that was also a struggle because I didn't really know what my personality was. I didn't know what my voice was. I didn't know who I needed to serve and who my audience was. It was brand new. So what happens with a lot of people, and what happened with me, is I kind of fell into the trap of doing what everyone else was doing, and thinking that I needed to replicate what everyone else was doing because that's what supposedly was working. When in fact, what was really happening behind the scenes and what was really working for a lot of people was completely opposite of what was being taught. I realized that, I think, over a couple of years, really not taking everything for face value and looking at things as a business rather than being a consumer and just buying everything and just kind of following along with the crowd. I looked at it objectively and said, what's really going on here, right? What is actually happening in this whole business, and how can I carve a small sliver of it for my own and kind of create that category of one where there really isn't any competition. If you're in the same game as me, you're not competing, right? It's either you're playing for second, right? And I needed to realize that there was a gap, there was an area that I could fill, and it wasn't really about competing with everyone out there. It was just about being myself. But again, it was a process figuring out who the hell that was, right? And it was. Yeah.
You just like threw out so many amazing things right there in that last 5 minutes. And I want to like dig into a few little points there that you brought out. So one of the things was you said that, you had to go through this process of discovering what your voice was, what your voice was and what your brand was, right? So we'll talk a little bit more about your breakthrough in a minute, but can you share with us sort of what was that process like for you? How did you do that? Because we do speak a lot about that, finding your voice, finding your value to share with the marketplace. How were you able to kind of come to a discovery of who is Darren, and how do you build your brand online? What did that look like?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with who you are as a person, right? Who you are at your core as a person, and what really drives you, and what you really value. A lot of the things that we tell people to look for when really trying to get someone to produce results, you look at what their why is and why they're doing this. But for me, and I think for a lot of people, that gets clouded with what you think you're supposed to be doing, right? And I thought I was doing this business for a certain reason, when in reality it was completely opposite. So probably over the last year, I really went through even just a personal transformation where that exponentially increased the results in my business, my personal life, just the way that I view just approaching friendships and anything. All of that had a bigger kind of impact on my business than any technical stuff that I learned, anything that I thought was important in my business for years, right? I always focused on the behind the scenes technical, figuring out like how funnels work, how emails work, what words are going to convert, and doing all that kind of stuff. And I actually neglected myself as a human. And I got into a position where I was like overweight, I was unhealthy, I was unhappy, but I was preaching this freedom-based lifestyle where I was actually living in a prison that I had kind of built for myself physically and emotionally. And it wasn't until I actually broke free from that, right, that I had an actual breakthrough. And I think the point I'm trying to make is that understanding who you are is really, it's a complete inside job, right? And it has nothing to do with the strategies you use. It has nothing to do with, the specific sales funnel or wording or methodology. It all has to do with who you are as a person and how you approach things and how you get up and approach your life. Because how you approach your life and how you approach one thing is how you approach everything. So if you approach your business with vigor, but you approach your personal life with lax and overweight kind of disgustingness, right? Then you're never gonna match both of them. You're never gonna have a lifestyle business if your lifestyle is shit and you think your business is gonna be great, right? You actually have to make your life great before your business can be great. And I think that that actually is the one thing that shifted everything for me. Because it wasn't until I became who I really needed to be personally that my actual words started converting more, my videos started converting more, people started coming out of the shadows saying, oh, what are you doing? I want to learn more. I want to hire you. I want you to come and speak at our event. I want to do this. None of that happened until I made a personal shift.
And this personal shift that you're speaking about, are you saying this kind of happened in the last year or so, really?
Yeah. I've gone through little things over time.
Yeah.
You have these little breakthroughs. You go to events and you kind of get all hyped up and you're like, yeah, I'm going to work out and I'm going to, meditate and I'm going to do this, daily activities and I'm going to build my business. And then that kind of goes for like a week. And then, a week later, you're not at the gym, you're not reading every day. You're not doing the things that are going to make you the person that you want to be. And then your business starts to lack focus as well, right? So I think over the last year, really over the last 6 months, I've taken, I met someone who really kind of shone a light on what was truly possible with my health, with my business, with just my focus, personality-wise, mentally, spiritually, just kind of was able to shine a light on what was really possible. And I think I was ready at the time to say, you know what, I've been messing around for too long. I had some success. I had some good success in our industry. Yeah. I was considered a success story, right? But the reality is there's always the next level. And if you're stuck, right? Like stuck is stuck. It doesn't matter if you're stuck at 5,000 a month or 50,000 a month or 500,000 a month. If you're stuck, you're stuck. And that feeling of being stuck never changes, regardless of how much you're making or how great your lifestyle is. If you have ever had that feeling, you know that feeling of like knowing that you're meant for more, you're just not achieving it yet. So I needed someone to actually come in from the outside and say, look, eat this, lift this, do this every day, and put yourself first, right? Travel, go to these places and actually create the lifestyle that you're so powerfully promoting and actually live it, right? And once I started to live that brand, right, and actually live that lifestyle, everything that I did after that just started to work, because it was authentic. There was no contrived authority. It was completely authentic. Mm-hmm. And that I think is what's missing in the market today is just people being who they need to be instead of being parents.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge. Okay. So you've had several different breakthroughs, I guess, through your process of growth. I want to talk a little bit more about this last year and this transition that you've had.
Sure.
But before we do that, I want to go back to your initial breakthrough still, several years back, where, you get into the online world, you're starting to learn a lot, you're facing some challenges and struggles, and then you finally start to create some results. I'm
right.
interested in that initial breakthrough there right now. What were some of the things that you did, activity-wise, mindset-wise? What changed for you? What did you start doing to create that initial breakthrough where you started to see those results online? The leads were coming in, the sales were coming in, and your business started to grow. What was that first breakthrough like?
The first time that I really started to see some great results was after following a few kind of previous mentors of mine, kind of online mentors, right? So one of the guys that I got connected with early and just bought everything that he had to sell was Dagan Smith. Mm-hmm. And he had a community called Maximum Leverage, and I was a part of that. And I learned what I know now as like direct response marketing, right? I learned the art of creating response in people through words, through images, through sales flow, and that really shifted the way that I viewed things, because I now, after that point, I knew I could control the flow of my business, right? I was no longer dependent on a system. I was no longer dependent on a leader or anyone else to kind of make something for me that I could then use. I was actually in charge of saying, look, I'm going to make this page. I'm going to put this offer up. I'm going to make, we use these words. I'm going to send these emails. I'm going to write them all. And I was actually empowered to create a business of my own. And it was interesting because at the time I didn't really have anything to sell. So I would, sell kind of affiliate products, right? Mm-hmm. But I would sell them in a way that was unique to me, where I would create my own. I didn't even know it at the time, like what I was doing, but I was creating my own sales funnel. So basically I was learning how to create my own sales funnels without really knowing that that's what I was doing. So I was watching what other people were doing. Guys like Dagan were basically, creating their own sales funnels, selling their own products. And so I started kind of copying what they were doing and saying, well, I've just got this result. I've just created, some traffic. I made some sales. And let me create a little bit of a training on how to do this. So I would create this capture page and, teach people how to do what I just did. And, that was basically that's what everyone does now, right? Is you create a result and you create a little program and teach people how to do it. And then, so ultimately what I was saying is, I was learning how to create my own sales funnels. And in the process, what I was taught to do and what I was told to do was to write 2 emails a day. Right. That was the thing that I was taught to do was write 2 emails a day, build your list, write 2 emails a day, make one email about kind of a call to action, kind of more just, go here and click this. Another one being more story based content and really in depth. So I learned a lot about, storytelling and just connecting with the emotional aspect of my audience.
Mm-hmm.
And that process of going through a lot of training of through Dagan and through Andre Chaperone and just through a lot of the kind of the well-known email marketing / direct response guys, but really I think the main thing that I learned back then was really understand your market, understand their pains, their problems, their fears, like the core emotions that people are feeling, and really don't be afraid to speak to that. Don't be afraid to speak to your own failures and talk about your own like we call it, like the damning admission, right? About things in your life that are not going the greatest or that weren't, and how you've overcome that. Like I was taught to teach by telling stories and how that was going to connect with my audience. And I think that was probably the first breakthrough that I had, was understanding that there was more that I could connect to another human being through words than other people were doing at the time, right? And what happened was people started noticing and started buying a lot from me, and because the training that I was going through was working, and it was only working was because I was doing it every single day. I would literally get up, I would go to work, and in the morning I would write my email, and before I left my office I would write my second email, and every day I was writing 2 emails a day for years, right?
Wow.
So it got to the point where you do that for long enough, you start getting pretty good at it, and it starts becoming something that's natural to you, instead of trying to do it once and then thinking, oh, I'm no good at this, I suck at writing. Right? I can go back in my autoresponder I still have the same autoresponder from 5 years ago, and I go back to sometimes like just for fun, I'll go back to the broadcast that I sent in like 2012 or 2011, and it disgusts me that I would even write these things, right? But that's like the growth, right? It's understanding that you're not going to start out as like a world-class marketer, but you are going to start somewhere, and if you keep going listening to the right people, you're going to get somewhere, right? And I think that if you just stick it out, like 99% of the people that are getting involved now are going to find something that's working for them. A bunch are going to quit, a few are going to make it big, but you have an opportunity that is only yours. And if you just stick to it and say, I'm going to be the best, email guy, right? And that's what I said to myself. I was like, you know what? I can do this email thing. I'm not great on video, because at the time I was like fat and ugly, right? I'm like, I'm not good on video. I don't really like audio. I don't really like talking to people. So I'm just going to do this email thing. And I think I can do that. I can just do this email thing. And I just did it, and I owned it. And now it's kind of turned into like my whole business has shifted because of that, right? And now my whole business, a lot of it is based on email and managing that for clients and managing it for big companies and whole affiliate platforms, right? I write every email for a lot of the big affiliate platforms because, I just did it every day. And wasn't afraid to just own that, right?
Yeah, that's powerful. It's funny because I was going to ask you, well, what's your advice? How do you get good at copywriting? And I mean, you answered it right there. You just do it every single day. Writing 2 emails every day for a couple of years, and you're doing the training, you're going to get good at it. And I think that's, whatever skill you want to learn, if it's Facebook marketing, if it's video marketing, if it's social media, or if it's email marketing, I think like what you said is focus on mastering one of those skills. Now, you talked a little bit about skill set and the fact that you had to develop a lot of skill set, right? Sometimes for marketers getting into this industry, it can be really overwhelming because it seems like we need to learn a lot of different skills. We need to learn copywriting. We need to learn how to build sales funnels. We need to learn social media. We need to learn video marketing. We need to learn all these different things. How do we get around that? I mean, are you saying just focus on one thing, or what are these key skills that we need to develop? And what do we do if we can't master all these skills?
Right. Well, I think it's a great question, and I'm going to answer it in 2 parts, okay? Because the one part is that all the things you just mentioned, right? Email, video, audio, podcasting, Snapchat, InstaChit, whatever like the platform is, right?
Yeah.
Every time there's something new that comes out, a marketer will try to ruin it and monetize it, right? And
Absolutely.
and then if they get they start getting, like, they got one lead off Snapchat, right? They're gonna create a program on how to get leads on Snapchat, right? So I think there's two aspects of it. One is understanding how the marketing industry works, right? And then the other part of it is understanding that all marketing is human, right? And the only thing you actually really need to understand is human nature, and communicating with human beings one at a time, right? And when you can understand how to communicate with one human being directly to their core, right? Understand that one person better than anybody else, like your one perfect customer. If you can understand that person, then it doesn't matter all the other stuff, like which platform you use doesn't really matter, right? Go wherever number one, go where your customers are, right? Because if your customers are 65-year-old women with arthritis, chances are they're not on Snapchat all day, right? Because they can't even hold the damn button, or their hands will crack open. Okay, so don't try to sell arthritis medication like in 30-second snaps, right? Maybe try to sell it on Facebook, where that like the biggest demographic is senior citizen women, right? Where they're going and they're spending time, they're connecting with their family, and maybe they're reading articles and they're sharing things. Like some of the if you look at the activities of what people do, and just look around. You don't need to do research. Just go to like your grandma's house, right? And check and see what she's doing. And I bet you she's sharing shit on Facebook, right? She's there, and I look at my mother's timeline, and it's just a bunch of shared stuff, right? From articles and blogs and newsletters and Dr. Oz and all this stuff. It's just all shared stuff. So just look at human activity and what are they doing, and then put yourself in front of them. Like that's all. It's so, I think it's too simple to make a product out of, right? But it's exactly the amount of simple that needs to be so that you can actually get results. Because that's what I tell any new client of mine that comes to me, and most of my new clients now are actually in offline businesses, like personal health people, fitness trainers and kinesiologists and nutritionists and those kind of people. And the one thing the first thing that we talk about is, number one, understanding like who you're talking to and where are they, right? And once you do that, you don't need to know all the other stuff, because if your audience is on YouTube, right, then focus on YouTube. But if your audience is on Facebook, focus on Facebook. If your audience is reading blogs and sharing their blogs on Facebook, then focus on maybe blogging, right? Or creating a podcast or whatever. Like, find out where your people are and just go where the people are, and kind of just hang out and share value and be cool. Don't be like a spammy idiot. Just be cool, share cool stuff, and just be normal. I think there's I can go off on a rant about this, because I just look on Facebook and it's like a cesspool of check flashing, imbeciles, because that's what you were taught to do. You were taught to like flash your check and screenshot, and I did that too. Look, I did that for years. I thought that's what you're supposed to do. Like, oh look, I just made it on the leaderboard, or I shot, I did this, or I did that, but just stop it, right? And just be normal. Be a normal person, because people want to deal with normal people, right? And people will like you more. Nobody likes marketers who are just in their face, right?
Yeah. It's huge advice. Really, really powerful. Okay, so this recent transition in this last year, you've really sort of embraced your own personal branding, and really gotten clear. You said you got clear on who you are and who you serve, and sort of what you stand for and what you deliver in the marketplace. And I'm sure that this is a process that with your clients on as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe what you could help us out with is just to help us understand, what does that process look like? So if you were taking a new client on, you're getting them started, and you're going through this process of really discovering their brand, what are some of the key things that we want to focus on?
Yeah. So basically the first thing that would happen. So in one area of our business, we have kind of like a done with you type marketing service where we'll take someone that has a business already and is getting some results, usually in kind of an offline/online field. Maybe they've got a client base already. They're already making money and doing what they want to do, but they actually want to build more of an online presence, or kind of package their information, package their knowledge so that they can have more leverage. So things that we kind of take advantage, we take for granted online, as that's really what we do. We just package our information, but we want to help people that maybe have information that they're giving on a one-to-one basis and help them give it one-to-many, right? And so that's basically what we do. And the first thing that ultimately what we do is I have a partner in this business, and she will sit with them and just have a conversation about who they are, right? Finding out what makes them tick, what their family is like, what they really enjoy doing in life, who the people are that they serve, like who are their customers, and if they had a room full of their customers over for dinner, like who would they want to fill that room with? And the interesting thing is, Jessica, when she goes through this process, is she'll have these conversations, and she'll learn about these people's families and their kids and their emotions and what really makes them tick. Because without knowing that, without going a step deeper than just the surface of, here, I want to serve, moms, right? If that's your market, if moms are your market, you don't have a market, okay? If moms in this zip code who have 2 children, who are Christian, who volunteer at school outings, who shop at certain restaurants, or eat at certain restaurants, or shop at certain grocery markets, buy organic food, are vegan, like that's a market, right? But moms is not a market. Moms are a demographic of people who you can't identify walking down the street. So the first process that we take people through is really one of just self-exploration, is really understanding who they are, what they want to accomplish, and how they're going to do that with their business, and how their business actually ties in to who they're serving. Did I lose you? Are you alive?
Yeah, we lost you for like a couple seconds there again. I don't know, man. This connection's killing me. What the hell?
I don't know. All right. So mainly, like the main thing that we do is really help people come down to the core of who they want to serve, but it really stems from who they are as an individual. Because I personally want to serve people that are just like me, because I knew that I needed to get through a place in my life in order to have my marketing work. So whenever I work with someone one-on-one with their marketing, a big part of it is helping them understand that they need to really become who they want to be if they want their marketing to work. Because it's almost impossible for me to work on someone's marketing if they're not working on themselves, right? It just won't match, and the results won't be as great as what I want them to be. When I work with someone, I want them to get great results. I don't want to work with someone who I think I can help a little bit. I want to work with someone who I can really make an impact. And by making that impact in their life, I want to make sure that they're making an impact in other people's lives that I equally am excited about, right? So that's why I've kind of moved more towards working with people that are that I can really see the impact that they're making in people's lives. So people are in the health field, people that are in the personal development space, people that are in even the marketing world, that are marketing things that I know that when someone buys it, that their life is going to be better, and that when they go use that product, the people that they touch are going to be better. So I think that's the transition that's happened, is I've gone from just playing for money to playing for change, right? And that's really the impact that I've had over the last year, is understanding that I couldn't do this. I couldn't be the best version, and my business couldn't be exactly what it needed to be unless I was. And I was told that by so many people. I was shown that, the whole mindset thing. Like every network marketing business you join, they focus on mindset and personal development, and you're reading all these books, but the amount of people that actually do it and implement it and make that a core staple in their business is very few and far between. And that's why there's so few people making big money, because those are the ones that actually took it upon themselves to better themselves, right? So I just want to focus on helping people kind of better themselves, but also how do we integrate that with some badass marketing, right? And put some words together, put your email campaigns together, make sure that the content you're coming out with is just killer, and just so that you're really on point with what you're marketing. And that's really the vision that I had. And finally, over the last 6 months or so, with my partner, Jessica, in this business, being able to really just tap into the real value that people have, and just pick and choose who we work with. And it's like, look, you are someone that I want to help, so let's talk. I want to help you, and just really instead of helping everyone and being like everything to everyone, just being the best thing for a few people. And that's what I really think happened over the last year, is really just being honest with who I was and who I wanted to serve.
So, Darren, big thank you. I'm really appreciative of you taking the time out of your busy day and sharing with us your experience. Really, really, really appreciate you for that. And for those premium members in our membership, I know the customers, and you're telling me that it's a really simple process, but it's extremely effective. You're closing 100% of your sales, which I said, yeah, that's not too shabby at all. So really excited for you to share that with our members. That should be extremely valuable. So Darren, thank you again so much for being here and for sharing with everybody your experience and your advice. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you having me out, and look forward to giving more to your community. Thanks.
All right. Awesome. Okay, everybody, hope you enjoyed this. And again, like with every single episode, the knowledge that you learn here, it's only going to be effective if you actually apply it. Do what Darren said, which is actually learn and then do it, like he did with email marketing, sending 2 emails out every single day. So take what you learn here and apply it in your business. And we will see you next week on another edition of the Online Playmaker Sessions. Everyone, take care.
I hope you enjoyed this week's Playmaker session. If you love the session, subscribe now to our YouTube channel so you never miss our weekly episodes. Be sure to also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Just type in Online Playmakers in the search bar and click subscribe, and be sure to leave a 5-star review. All of the episodes, show notes, transcripts, resources, and bonuses are available on the blog over at onlineprofitplaybook.com, along with several bonus free tutorials I've created for you as well. Your fast track to results is to follow the Playmakers. You can download their closely guarded playbooks and follow them step by step to grow your influence, build your audience, and create results in your business right now. Head over to onlineprofitplaybook.com and join the Playmakers to get full access today. Thank you again for joining us today, and be sure to tune in next week as we bring you another power-packed session with the top Playmakers online. This is Norbert Orlowitz signing off.